Okay, guys, so with my book coming out in a little less than a month on October 1st, I wanted to spend the next 4 weeks creating a video a week covering some of the topics that I'm going to be covering in my book. This week, I'm going to be covering time management, which I think is a very important skill to learn both for students and adults. I can't tell you how many times that I've had people cancel appointments that I've set with them because they were unable to manage their calendar and were unable to manage their time, or they show up late because they don't pay attention to the time, or they're not really paying close attention to how close they're setting their appointments together. So when it comes to time management, this is a very important trait to learn. It's both going to help you in school, it's going to help you with less pressure in life, and it's really going to help you in your career. If you're able to balance a lot of things but still get everything done, your boss is going to look at you better and you're going to feel a lot more comfortable working at your job. So if we're going to bring in a time management, there's about 5 or 6 steps that are going to really help you do this. And some of this might seem like it's overboard, but really, if you have time struggling, feeling like you don't have enough time in the day, you really need to start paying attention to how you're spending that time, because distractions can really pull you away from getting the important things done. We always seem to find something a little bit more important that distracts us from doing the must do's, whether it be, oh, today all of a sudden I have to do laundry, even though I have a certain project due in the next couple days. Or we always procrastinate to the very end. If a project is due on Friday, you typically don't start working on it until Wednesday or Thursday night. And then you're stressed trying to get all of that done. So by going over these couple steps, I'm really hoping this will help you as far as managing your time and getting those projects done and giving you more free time, honestly, that you will be able to do and enjoy with yourself. So to get started with this, the first thing you're going to need is Post-it notes. I know this sounds weird, but Post-it notes are allowed to be used for more than just note-taking. Post-it notes have helped a whole bunch in my life. They helped me actually create my book. I was able to write a lot of different notes down and see everything in a more visual way. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your Post-it notes and write down everything that you have for the upcoming week. You should probably be doing this on a Saturday or Sunday, but whether it be laundry, there's different projects due, there's certain meetings, you have soccer practice, band practice, whatever it is, you need to write it down on individual Post-it notes, and we'll go over what we're going to be doing with that soon. But write down as many things as you can, whether it be very super small, if you want to catch up on a Netflix series, whatever it is, but make sure that you are writing down all the things that you think you have to be done this week. And this might take a couple minutes to do, and you might forget some, but write down as many as you can think of. Now, step two. Step two is going to be writing down all of the important due dates that you have for these. So some of these things you can get done at any point this week. Laundry can be done at any time. But if you have any projects that are due, make sure that you're writing down the projects on the Post-it notes so you know, hey, these certain items have due dates that I can't forget about, and they have to be done by this date. This will help us prioritize things later. Now, the next thing you're going to be doing is on a big sheet or on a board, or you can even just do it on your wall. You're going to be creating a section for must do's, should do's, and want to do's. And basically by doing this, we're going to start prioritizing things. So obviously anything with a due date is going to go in your must do list. So once you either do this on a poster board, you can do it on a table, but make sure that you have 3 different sections that you're going to be using. And then as you do that, you'll just be putting these Post-it notes with all of your different things, putting it in your must do list. You can put one on your should do list, and you can put another one on your want to do list. And again, this, you're going to have to kind of use some self-preservation here when it comes to figuring out exactly what these categories are going to be. But, watching TV shows, things that could be done at a later date are most likely going to end up in your want to do or your should do list. Anything that has a due date or you need to get done in the next couple of days should be done in your must do list. Now, a lot of the times your want to do list are going to be easier things, whether it just be cleaning up a couple of things outside or, just doing some small, simple chores that you might want to do because they're easier. It always seems that our must-dos are always the more difficult, but they always seem to get put off until the end. But once you start figuring out and seeing visually what you have going on, you'll start to see how your week is going to become. Now, step 4 is we put all the tasks in the area and we want to work our way down the list. So again, you basically have your 3 different sections, and then within each of the sections, you're going to have a priority of, okay, here's my must-dos, and then by due dates, you're going to start sorting out and saying, okay, this one is due on Tuesday, so this needs to go above the ones that are due Thursday. And a lot of times with this too, if you have a project that is due Friday, maybe you should be putting the must-do as in start studying for a test or start working on the project on a Tuesday. So once you figure out your due dates, you need to start working backwards and figuring out how much time you have in your week and figuring out when you should start working on those projects. If you have a lot of things going on Wednesday and Thursday and you have a project or a test that's on Friday, then you need to start working on that test and those projects earlier in the week. Once you have this separated out in different sections, you're going to want to do the same thing for each day. So now for each day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you need a must do, should do, and want to do. And again, this is going to be based on due dates and everything else you have going on. But once you start looking at your day, obviously if you have work during the day, that's going to take up 6 to 8 hours of your day. If you have school, that's going to take up 6 to 8 hours. Then you need to start filling in all those spots around there. But then you're going to start seeing what your day is going to look like from the time you wake up to the time that you finish your day, rather than just showing up to the day of and seeing what you can get done in that day. One thing you're going to need to do with this too is add flexibility. You need to realize that things might come up, emergencies might come up, traffic might be backed up. You might not, if you want to get started on a certain project at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that might not happen. So that 4 o'clock appointment or that 4 o'clock study session that you scheduled might get pushed back to 5 o'clock. This is not going to be a very specific minute by minute project. This is going to basically be creating time blocks where you can spend a lot of that time. But most of the time when we look at a week, we just realize I have 20 things to get done this week. I just hope that I can get those things done all in this week. But once you start taking out your different Post-it notes and putting those on certain days, you can really start seeing what the layout of your day is going to look like. Now, once you have all of your Post-it notes in the areas that you want it to be in, I need you to copy this into either a handheld or a paper form calendar or a digital calendar. I spend my entire week looking inside of my digital Google Calendar. Anytime I set up an appointment, anytime that I have something due, including creating this video, everything that I want to get done in a week is in my calendar. So that way, once it's scheduled, it's going to be done. There are some times that maybe something comes up and I can't get it done, but if it's not on my calendar, most likely it's always going to be pushed back to the next day, pushed back to the next week. But once it gets in the calendar, it is a lot easier to follow. And I know a lot of you may not be using calendars yet. I know when I was in school that when I had that planner to use every day, the only reason I forced some things into my calendar or into my planner was because my teacher would check it on a weekly basis, but I really did not use it. But today I would never be able to live without my calendar. And when you start looking at successful business people, you will realize that they check their calendar before they make any commitments. Because if you have too much going on in a day, then you have to realize that you're not going to be able to get everything done. And then that's going to be pushed on to the next day or the next day. So when you can start looking at your things in a digital week, you know, if you're coming up, if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and then the next thing's scheduled for 4 o'clock, you know exactly how much time you have to prepare for that next appointment. But unless you have it written down in either a paper form or a digital form, it's very difficult, especially as when you go through the week, there might be more demand to add more things to your schedule. And as new things come up, you're going to have to put those into the different categories of must do, should do, or want to do. I have started to learn that I have to say no to more things than what I used to. I used to say yes to everything and then run out of time to get a lot of the important things done. If a friend wanted to hang out or needed help with something, I want to be able to help my friend, but I have more important things going on that if I spend the next 2 hours or 3 hours hanging out and helping my friend, I'm not going to be able to get the important things done that actually matter a lot more to me. Once you have this scheduled out, you need to be looking at each day the night before. There's some times that I look and I know that I have an extremely busy day in front of me, so I know that I need to get to bed and make sure that I wake up with a good head on my shoulders. But there's other times that obviously I have a little bit more freedom in my day, which is good. I'm allowed to have relaxing days. But if you don't look ahead, then the day just kind of happens to you rather than you controlling the day. The biggest goal out of managing your time is realizing how much time you have in a specific day and realizing how you're going to tackle tasks throughout the day. But most of the time I realize when I work with students that they're just so overwhelmed with everything going on, they don't actually schedule these things out and they just feel like everything's falling on top of them at the same time. Once you start looking at this from a high level view and you can see everything categorized inside of your planner or your calendar, then you can really start realizing what it's going to look like throughout your week. Hopefully this has helped you guys with some of your time management. I know that this might be something new and Post-it notes on a wall or into a piece of paper might be a little bit overkill. But at the very least, you should be scheduling out all of your important tasks for the week ahead. I can tell you what I'm doing for the next 2 months. And obviously my days and my tasks are going to grow as I continue talking to more people and adding more appointments. But I know from today, I can look out into all of September. I can look out at all of October. Everything that I have planned for this book launch coming up up on October 1st is in my calendar. So I know exactly what days I'm going to be doing what, rather than just hoping that I can get the next 50 tasks on a checklist done within the next 30 days. So hopefully you guys can start taking all of the busyness and the chaos going on in your life, get it scheduled into day by day chunks, and you will start seeing that you can start finding more time of freedom and start managing exactly how you're going to spend your day. I will talk to you guys next week when we're covering relationships and how important building great relationships are. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.